This is a comprehensive ship tour of RMS Queen Mary 2, the last true ocean liner. You'll see live deck plans showing exactly where we are on board, alongside detailed commentary as we explore her. I'm David from Curious to Travel. Let's begin. We begin in front of a painting of the original RMS Queen Mary in the grand lobby on deck 2. The busy purser's office is at the rear, which shows this grand space is also a working hub of Queen Mary 2. Tucked off to her port side is the casino, and in the background you can hear the captain's daily noon briefing. When the grand lobby is quiet, it feels completely different. It rises to deck 6 with stateroom windows looking in from either side, and at the centre is this large artwork by John McKenna, its layered metal forms echoing the movement of the sea and the ship's geometry. Let's take a wander. You'll see a deck plan to the left, showing where we are on the ship. When we reach a new area, a full deck plan appears, then shifts to a closer view for detail, like this. As we loop back towards the grand lobby, we pass the Stairway B elevators. Just to say, I'm not an expert, simply a Cunard enthusiast, sharing what I've learned along the way. These large red and gold glass panels just off the grand lobby were created by Christensen Lee Studios in the United States, using a technique called Verre Églomisé. That means precious metals and pigments are applied to the back of the glass, and what we see is the artwork through the glass itself, which gives it that depth and luminosity as the light changes. You've just seen the panel representing Asia, and this Australia panel, sometimes called Australian Menagerie, is the best known of the series and has received awards for its design. Together, these works reflect Cunard's global reach and the continents the ship connects. On our way to the Golden Lion pub, we take this corridor off the aft side of the grand lobby and find 2 more Verre Églomisé glass panels by Christensen Lee Studios, this time depicting the Aurora Borealis and Aurora Australis. These 4 metal relief panels represent Europe, Africa, South America, and North America, and were created by Gonzalez and Harms in the UK. They're very different in feel from the glass panels nearby, heavier, more figurative, and more tactile. The Golden Lion is the ship's traditional pub. It's an informal place that feels very easy to visit and often one of the busiest places on board. Although, like many public spaces, it's easiest to film here early in the morning before the day really begins. There's sport on TV, as well as quizzes, events, and bingo, and it's very much a place people return to throughout the voyage. You'll also find live music most days. There's 2 dartboards and regular darts competitions are held here. Let's head up to Deck 3 using Stairway C. These 4 metal relief panels represent the seasons. This one is winter, and were created by UK design studio DKT. Sir Samuel's Café is named after Cunard's founder, Samuel Cunard, and serves as the ship's main daytime cafe. The chart room is one of Queen Mary II's most refined bars, named after a traditional navigational space and designed for quiet conversation and pre-dinner cocktails. It retains much of its original 2004 design and was largely unchanged during Queen Mary II's 2016 refit. One of its standout features is the series of illuminated blue panels inspired by traditional nautical charts, which give the room its distinctive atmosphere. Next to the chart room is the champagne bar, a light, elegant space that connects directly with the Grand Lobby, and it currently features Laurent Perrier. With entrances on both sides, it feels deliberately open, somewhere people drift through as much as they stop, which gives it a very different energy depending on the time of day. As we pass this specially commissioned portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, it's worth noting that she named Queen Mary II in January 2004. Here's the ship's bell, a link to maritime history, marking the passage of a 4-hour watch, building to 8 bells at the end. On Queen Mary II, the bell is rung 8 times at noon by a ship's officer, marking the close of a watch. It's a reminder that she still honours seafaring tradition. These glass panels represent Earth and Fire, created by Burley Glass Studios in the United States, using the Verre Églomisé technique. They seem to be more abstract and restrained than the gilded panels elsewhere, focusing on elemental mood. Deck 3 of the Grand Lobby is home to Queen Mary II's shops. Let's explore her shop windows. This is the Boston Commemorative Cup, presented to Samuel Cunard in 1840 to mark the very first Cunard transatlantic arrival, and, wherever it's displayed, designates the Cunard flagship. Coming up is a plaque recording Queen Mary 2's construction at the Chantier de l'Atlantique shipyard in Saint-Nazaire, where she was known as building G32, a name later given to the G32 nightclub, which we'll see a little later in the tour. Two more elemental glass panels from Belay Glass Studios, Water and Air. A glass model of QE2 presented in 2018, a symbolic link between Cunard's former and current flagships. As we prepare to leave the grand lobby area, Queen Mary 2 has a passenger choir that rehearses throughout the voyage. On the final sea day, they perform a concert here in the grand lobby, a space designed with acoustics very much in mind. The Britannia Restaurant spans the full width of the ship and rises through multiple decks, creating a sense of scale you rarely see at sea. As you enter the Britannia Restaurant, this enormous mural immediately sets the tone, emphasizing journey, movement and scale. The illuminated glass ceiling diffuses light, so the space feels bright and open without ever becoming harsh. Britannia's design is more classical and restrained, very much in keeping with Queen Mary 2's liner heritage. Because Queen Mary 2 is an ocean liner designed for North Atlantic crossings that can be rough, the Britannia Restaurant sits close to the ship's pivot point, where motion is least noticeable. As the restaurant fills the ship from beam to beam, passengers need to use the art gallery corridor on the intermediate deck 3L, which sits under the restaurant tiers on the starboard side. In fact, directly beneath us right now. We'll pass through this art gallery corridor shortly. The Britannia Restaurant is also used for onboard watercolour classes, making the most of the excellent natural light. And, at the end of the voyage, passengers' work is displayed here as well. The menus are displayed outside. Here's the breakfast menu. This painting shows Queen Mary 2's last remastering. Her next major refit is in April 2027. This is the art gallery corridor on deck 3L, the link that runs past the Britannia Restaurant. Cunard uses the space for an art gallery run by Clarendon Fine Art, an independent company that appears across all the Cunard queens. It's an unusual setting for a gallery, with the sea constantly in motion just beyond the windows. The Queen's Room is Queen Mary 2's ballroom, a vast beam-to-beam space with high ceilings, chandeliers, and a large wooden dance floor. Just inside the entrance is this bronze bust of Queen Mary by British sculptor Carl Payne. The scale is deliberate. Like much of Queen Mary 2, the Queen's Room reflects her ocean liner heritage, symmetrical, balanced, and designed to work even when the Atlantic isn't kind. This is a room designed around shared occasions, used for formal balls with live bands, dance classes, events, and Cunard's famous afternoon tea.
This is now or never. It is understood. Let's get it while the getting is good.
It's one of the few spaces at sea still built specifically for dancing, not just seating. As you may recall from the shipbuilder's plaque off the Grand's lobby, G32 was Queen Mary II's build number, her identity during construction, and that's the name of the ship's nightclub, located here aft, deep in the ship. G32 is arranged over 2 levels, with the main floor on deck 3L and a balcony above on deck 3. The design is deliberately industrial, with an urban feel and flame-like lighting that echoes the ship's machinery spaces, or even the boiler rooms of Queen Mary II's early predecessors. In the evenings, it's used for live music, late-night sets and karaoke, while during the day it hosts choir rehearsals and talks or meet and greets with guest speakers. What's striking is where Cunard didn't economise. You can see there are portholes set into alcoves looking out to sea, and further portholes looking back into the Queen's room from above. Outside the Queen's room on the port side is this large model of Queen Mary 2. You'll notice it shows a swimming pool on deck 13, something that no longer exists. Earlier, we saw a painting from her 2016 remastering, and during that period, one of the major changes was the addition of extra staterooms on deck 13, altering both her shape and how the space is used. Later on, we'll walk along deck 13 and see those changes for ourselves. As we walk around the Royal Court Theatre, this is one of the surrounding corridors that doesn't appear on the deck plan. Continuing forward around the Illuminations Theatre, this corridor becomes almost a gallery of enlarged photographic portraits and images related to Cunard's history and heritage. Passing Stairway A, In daylight, this becomes a quiet, light-filled corridor, somewhere to sit, read, and watch the sea pass by. Below, on deck 3L, this corridor around the Royal Court Theatre is set up with games tables by the windows, a relaxed spot for puzzles and quiet play during the day. This is filmed early in the morning, before the space fills with light and activity. This area is called Connexions, a flexible set of rooms used for things like computer access, meetings, and small group activities. These lower corridors around the Illuminations Theatre are lined with artefacts, photographs, and commemorative items from Cunard's past. It's the sort of space you tend to absorb gradually over multiple voyages rather than all at once. Here's the future voyage sales office. Booking on board can come with benefits, such as additional onboard credit and a small discount. These bronze figures frame the entrance to the Illuminations Theatre, using classical forms and celestial motifs to set the tone for what lies beyond. They're less about telling a story and more about creating a sense of anticipation. Illuminations was designed as a multi-purpose space, incorporating a planetarium within a domed theatre. Alongside that original intent, the space is used for films, talks, and enrichment lectures during the voyage. It's a calm, beautifully designed theatre, particularly well suited to long days at sea. Like much of Queen Mary 2, it's designed to support reflection and learning as part of the voyage. The Royal Court Theatre has a distinctive layout, with a stage that extends into the room and seating arranged around it on three sides. The atmosphere is intentionally intimate, closer to a club theatre than a traditional auditorium. Seating includes individual chairs and banquettes, with small tables and drinks served at your seat. It's designed for live performance, prioritising connection and comfort over scale. Time for some fresh air. Let's head up to the Promenade on Deck 7. The Promenade is one of the defining features of Queen Mary 2. It's a full, wrap-around deck running bow to stern. Underfoot is real teak, something you see far less often now, and the deck is generously wide, with space for walking, jogging, or simply stopping to watch the ocean go by. Steamer chairs line the railings, inviting you to slow down and take it all in. Deck 7 is high for a ship's promenade, reflecting her ocean liner design, with the lifeboats carried one deck above, well clear of the waves. Queen Mary 2 entered service in 2004 after being named by Queen Elizabeth II. She was designed by Dr. Stephen Payne, a naval architect tasked with creating something very specific, a modern ocean liner for the North Atlantic. At the time, she was an extraordinary investment, costing in the region of $800 million to build. She's just over 345 metres long, with a draft of little over 10 metres. Her service speed is around 26 knots. That's 30 miles an hour and fast by modern passenger ship standards, and essential for maintaining schedules across the Atlantic. Up forward, the promenade is covered, a deliberate design choice inspired by the ocean liner Rotterdam, giving shelter when the weather turns bad. Up on the bow are these spare propeller blades, which look very sculptural. They're affectionately referred to as the Commodore's cufflinks. That's the gym in there, which we'll be seeing shortly. Queen Mary 2 has 4 propeller pods underneath her hull, and 2 of them can rotate through 360 degrees, giving her remarkable control despite her size, and meaning she doesn't need a rudder. Each one of these pods weighs more than an A380 aircraft. The ship generates enormous amounts of electricity to power them, enough to supply the entire city of Southampton. Everything here, from her proportions to her systems, reflects the fact she was designed to keep going when conditions at sea are less forgiving. There's one part of Queen Mary 2's story that isn't talked about very often. As she was being completed in Saint-Nazaire, a tragic accident occurred at the shipyard in November 2003. During an open day, when workers and their families were visiting, a temporary gangway collapsed. 15 people lost their lives, and many others were injured. Work at the shipyard stopped immediately, and the city observed a day of mourning. Queen Mary too was custom designed for a very specific job, and she was built with serious intent. She really is one of a kind. Whether a ship like this will ever be built again is an open question. This promenade lap was filmed in the early morning. As it comes to a close, let's see some glimpses of the promenade at other times of day. The Minnows pool is an outdoor swimming area that's consistently popular. Nearby is a large hot tub, and there's a small splash pool too. It's all linked to the kids zone on deck 6, hence the name Minnows. After all this fresh air and exercise, we may as well keep going. Next stop, the gym. The spa on board is currently operated by Mareel. Access to the spa facilities is available by pass, whilst the gym itself is complimentary for guests. And a quick thank you to Anthony for showing me around and kindly allowing me to film here. The Carinthia Lounge was added during the 2016 remastering. It's become a very popular lounge and bar, particularly during the day for light lunches and relaxed seating. In the evenings, it's used as a more informal entertainment venue, with music and a calmer, contemporary feel. This area is known as the Chef's Galley, and it's just off the King's Court Buffet restaurant. You'll find burgers and hot dogs during the day, and pasta and pizza in the evenings. King's Court sits here on deck 7, close to the ship's centre, which is slightly unusual. On most cruise ships, buffet restaurants are pushed right up to the top decks, but on Queen Mary 2, this reflects her ocean liner design. Dr. Stephen Payne wanted the large public rooms on deck 7 to be able to double as indoor muster stations, so they're placed centrally and built on a generous scale. This is filmed early in the morning before service begins. I'll drop in some lunchtime clips shortly to show it in use. The Grill Lounge is a private lounge and bar for Princess and Queen's Grill guests. Far aft on Deck 7 is the Queen's Grill Restaurant. It's a striking space, bright, confident, and instantly recognisable for its vivid red chairs, which give the room a real sense of drama and occasion. This is the most refined dining experience on board, with a strong emphasis on classic technique, including tableside preparation and flambe. Everything here, from the service to the setting, is designed to make dining feel like an event rather than just a meal. The Princess Grill Restaurant also sits aft on Deck 7, but this time on the port side, providing a dedicated dining room for Princess Grill guests. This is the library, often described as the largest dedicated library at sea and one of the quietest, most traditional rooms on board. It holds thousands of books and periodicals and is very much designed as a place to read, think, and simply spend time at sea. It was originally planned to be even larger, spanning the full width of the ship, but part of that space was reallocated during design to create a more generous spa. It's a popular spot and often well used, yet in true library fashion, it remains a genuinely quiet space. We approach one of the two scenic elevators, a handy feature linking deck 7 to 11, connecting the Promenade, Library, Commodore Club and Atlantic Room. It turns a practical journey into a moment to pause and take in the view. The Atlantic Room on deck 11 is a peaceful, semicircular lounge lined with windows that's used for bridge lessons and small group activities. On world cruises, it's set aside as a private lounge for those guests participating in the entire voyage. Just nestled underneath the bridge, the observation deck feels like a natural place to pause. There were a few small moments on board that helped shape what Queen Mary 2 came to mean for me, and I'll return to this later on. Before we move on, a very quick look inside our own stateroom, an obstructed view balcony on deck 8. This was filmed while we were actually using the room, so it's a little lived in rather than pristine. Although it's sold as an obstructed view, the lifeboat only covers about a third of the outlook, so you still get light, air, and a usable sea view. This is the Verandah Queen Mary 2's Extra Charge Steakhouse. The name has deep roots within Cunard, originating with the veranda grill on the 1936 Queen Mary, one of the most exclusive dining rooms of its era, and later a celebrated fixture on the post-war Queens. Here the tradition continues in a modern form, a reservation-only restaurant offering classic steakhouse dishes in a quieter, more focused setting than the main dining rooms. Aft on deck 8 is the Terrace Pool and Bar. There's a pool, 2 hot tubs, plenty of lounges, and space for live music, with sail-away parties often held here. The port side also serves as the ship's designated outdoor smoking area. Up on deck 12 are the Kennels, one of Queen Mary 2's most unusual features. They allow up to 24 dogs and cats to travel with their owners on transatlantic crossings, cared for by a dedicated kennel master and team. There's usually an unofficial photo shoot, one of those moments that makes the ship feel very special.
There we go, one more. There we go. That's a nice
This is the Pavilion Pool Bar on deck 12. It's a flexible space with a retractable roof that allows it to be used either open to the elements or fully enclosed. The design blends classic cues with modern practicality, making it comfortable and enjoyable in a wide range of weather conditions. Regular viewers will know that in my ship tour series, I always include a full accommodation corridor circuit, simply for completeness. So, as we walk around Deck 10, it's a good opportunity to talk through some more of the features that make Queen Mary 2 quite different from a cruise ship. Some we've already covered, like her high promenade deck safely out of reach of the waves, but there are many more. And, after that, we'll take a look at her RMS title and what that really means today. Like all Cunard queens, you'll see art in the stairways, a concept known as vertical galleries. One thing you'll notice is just how long and straight her accommodation corridors are, unlike Queen Victoria, Queen Elizabeth and Queen Anne, where corridors are broken up with turns and shorter runs, whereas here they run fore to aft, straight as an arrow. So, what exactly is an ocean liner? I'm not a nautical expert, just an enthusiast, but broadly speaking, an ocean liner is a passenger ship purpose-built for long-distance intercontinental travel, designed to operate reliably and safely in the open ocean, including harsh North Atlantic conditions. That's what sets Queen Mary 2 apart from modern cruise ships. So what does this mean in design terms? Her hull is V-shaped with a deeper draft, giving greater stability, and it's thicker and stronger than that of a typical cruise ship, using significantly more steel. Her service speed of around 26 knots is far higher than the 18 to 22 knots common today, allowing her to cover vast distances efficiently. She has large, powerful stabilizers, 4 of them, to reduce motion in rough weather, and a hull form designed specifically with seakeeping in mind. Forward, her long, enclosed bow and setback superstructure incorporate a built-in breakwater too, helping her cut through and deflect heavy seas. And her bridge is positioned high on deck 12, with enclosed bridge wings. Inside, we've seen how major public spaces, like the Britannia Restaurant, reflect this same thinking, balancing scale, comfort, and safety. And finally, her passenger space ratio is unusually generous, recognizing the many sea days she was designed for. Even when the ship is full, it's still possible to find calm, quiet places on board. Looking at the deck plan, Deck 10 is mostly Princess Grille suites, and they're coloured in grey, although there are several Queen's Grille suites coloured yellow, orange and brown too, as well as some inside cabins in green. We're just approaching some Queen's Grille suites now, including some of the biggest on board. Later, we'll take a look inside one. Some people like to decorate their stateroom doors. Queen Mary 2 is actually RMS Queen Mary 2. I've often wondered what it really means today to be designated a Royal Mail ship. So I did some digging, and before we finish this circuit, I'll share what I found out. But first, let's glimpse our Princess Grille Suite 10093 for this voyage. We'll just take a very quick look here. There's a full room tour on the channel if you'd like to see more.
Make sure it's suitable for their weight by checking the limit shown on the jacket. If it's not, or you're unsure, tell your stateroom steward and they'll give you the correct size.
Historically, RMS meant Royal Mail ship, a vessel officially contracted to carry mail for the British Postal Service. In the great age of ocean liners, this was a serious operational role. Mail contracts funded ships, they dictated schedules and demanded speed and reliability. Today, the designation is far less practical. On Queen Mary 2, the RMS title is now honorary, a nod to Cunard's heritage rather than an active mail contract. Earlier, outside the Golden Lion pub, you may have noticed a red Royal Mail postbox on board, and this serves as a small, tangible link to that tradition. So, in modern terms, RMS is largely ceremonial, reflecting continuity rather than necessity. It speaks to Queen Mary 2's identity as the last true transatlantic ocean liner, the only passenger ship maintaining a regular, timetabled crossing between continents. While the mail is now symbolic, the designation still fits. It's less about carrying sacks of letters and more about the kind of ship Queen Mary 2 was built to be. Set high above the bow on deck 9, we find the Commodore Club, one of Queen Mary 2's most recognisable lounges. It offers panoramic views forward and is a popular spot for cocktails, especially at sea. Just off the main lounge is the Boardroom, used for meetings and small events. Also off the main lounge is Churchill Cigar Lounge, a Cunard institution dedicated to one of their most famous regular passengers.
I know, I'm going to be like, yes. Am I supposed to yeah.
Here's the Concierge Lounge, reserved for Princess and Queen's Grill guests. It's a quieter space for assistance, planning, and arranging details during the voyage. Here's a tour of our Queen's Grill suite on another voyage. We'll just take a relaxed 1-minute look around, filmed as we were actually living in it. I've shared a full, dedicated suite tour separately on the channel if you'd like to see more detail. Deck 13 is largely given over to outdoor games and activities. You'll find a pickleball court, traditional deck games like shuffleboard, and the fairways golf nets. It's a simple, open deck designed for fresh air, movement, and time outside, and it doubles as a helicopter pad. Up here, above the decks and the day-to-day life of the ship, you get a different perspective. We pass the radars turning steadily, the ship constantly scanning what lies ahead.
Oh yeah, turning into a nice day, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Looking back now, the ship's wake stretches out behind us, and people playing shuffleboard come into view. It was in two very different moments that Queen Mary 2 really began to make sense to me. One was in a quiet corridor, time slowing down, a jigsaw on the table, the sea always there beyond the window. A place to unwind, to find a rhythm, and to remember that time is precious. The other was in the captain's daily briefings, knowing exactly where we were, what surrounded us, and where we were heading, serious, measured, and quietly reassuring. Together, those two things tell you what kind of ship this is. A ship that gives you space to be alone with the ocean, and at the same time the confidence that you're in very good hands. If you've enjoyed spending time on Queen Mary 2 with me, you'll find lots more like this on the channel. Thank you very much for watching. I'm David from Curious to Travel. Stay curious.